Ladies and gentlemen.
Hi there, welcome back to Mike's Diabetes Row. Okay, shall we do this? Current blood sugar is coming down from 10.7, but we went up to 14.6, and now we're coming down. I'm starting to feel a little bit better. The current amount of insulin is 4.350. That's after stack insulin. Don't need to calibrate. That's what's nice about the 780G pump. Can't do this anywhere. Showing, there we go. But all in all, pretty good. Okay, time and range. We're not doing as well. We're at 63%. Earlier today, we were at 70. This is still below. This is 2. This has gone up. We were 9 earlier. So we've really started coming up. Today, I want to discuss the no sugar diet. But stay tuned, we'll be right back. The no sugar diet. So many people have this mixed feeling that, oh, you're diabetic. You can't have any sugar. But even overweight people who don't have diabetes, oh, they can have whatever they want. But once you're diabetic, oh, we're talking, oh, you shouldn't have any sugar. Your diet should be completely sugar-free, or wake up. You can't have a whole diet sugar-free. Like that little camera trick. But every single thing has sugar in it. Pure and simple. So allowing people to assume that diabetics can magically eat stuff that's all sugar-free. They assume vegetables are sugar-free. Well, hate to tell you this, they're not. Fruits and vegetables carry a whole bunch of sugar, but that's all diabetics are allowed to eat. They can't have meat. They can't have cheese. Oh God. I can remember. Granted, this was years ago. My sister and I went out to one of her friend's house, and she gave me a piece of cheese, and it was a little bit more than an inch by an inch. And oh my God, she freaked out. Oh God, he can't have that. It'll cause his blood sugars to go skyrocketing and he'll go blind. Do you want him to go blind? No. But on the other hand, you're not going to go blind by one meal that your blood sugar goes up. On the other hand, living your whole life, that philosophy, well, I can have sugar whenever I want. You're still not going to want to have processed sugar that often. Things like chips, sodas, candy are all going to be problematic for you. So we can't have it. That's pure and simple. We can't have sugar. That would be great for a diabetic who loves savory foods. But for someone who has a sweet tooth, now who here would have a sweet tooth? Oh God, for years I've been fighting a sweet tooth. When carb counting came in, took me a while to get it, but once I got it, it was so easy. And it still is so easy. Once you get down to basics, you're going to learn and you're going to grow with it. And counting carbs, and then with devices like this, where you can just type in your carbs and press enter, it will give you the amount of insulin to cover it. It is so much better. But we still deal with people. I'll be doing a whole extra video on that. But sugar diets or no sugar diets have been around for years. You should only be eating lettuce with a little bit of oil dressing, vinegar and oil, and you'll lose the weight and you'll feel much better, and you can cure your diabetes. Well, newsflash. Type 1, type 2, gestational diabetes are three different diseases, and they are treated differently. They may be treated with the same medication in some, but they're still medication. They're still different diseases. Type 1 is insulin dependent. We don't have a choice. There is no cure yet. Hopefully there'll be one around the corner, but right now, there isn't a cure. Next, there's type 2, which is pretty well genetic based, they think. And that's your body just doesn't produce enough insulin. Where my body and type 1 diabetics don't produce any at all, type 2 diabetes don't produce enough. And gestational, well, they're just diabetics while they're pregnant. It can show their nasty face later in life. Now, when you're eating, if you go and you go to a bakery for lunch, and you stare at all those cakes. As I said before, you could have a piece of cake. Just don't forget to count the carbs. Now, if you go to McDonald's, where you're going to have a lot of carbs, but if you go into McDonald's for lunch, you're going to have carbs. But you know what? They have carb counts for all their products, and it's usually on the flip side of their menu sheets that they put on your trays. If you flip it over, it's usually there, or it's posted on the wall. They want your business. They want you to eat their food, and there's nothing wrong with you having it as a type 1. You just have to take your insulin to cover that. That's why you should be seeing your doctor, coming up with how many carbs do I need for a certain item, and give that item. I can remember I was in the hospital. Like, over the years, I've been in the hospital a number of times. Hence, I'm still in a hospital type setting. But this doctor tried to explain this carb thing to me. But at that point, we weren't really, it wasn't a big thing. But he mentioned, well, protein has this many carbs, starch is this much, and milk is this much. And you can interchange some things. And I thought, okay, I'm going to stick with my little booklet. But he was groundbreaking. Thinking back now, he was a groundbreaking doctor. I don't know whatever happened to him, where he is now. But if I only took what he had to offer, then there would be so much less of an issue when it came to me changing over to carbs. Now, carbs and I, were they really early 70s, early 80s, or were they 90s? I think it was late 80s, early 90s. I had gone to a diabetic support group, and the dietitian came, laid out, oh, well, this is what the CDA new diet is going to look like. And I said, oh, that's interesting. And then I went to a daycare appointment, and they brought it up again. I want you to scrap your old book. Use this sheet. And they had a color sheet. It was a hell of a lot nicer looking. It showed you roughly what 15 grams of carbs look for each item. In case you haven't noticed, carb equals sugar, and sugar equals carb. So when you eat something with a certain number of carbs, it may have an impact on your blood glucose. Be careful. There's carbs everywhere, especially in this advanced society we live in. Take your medication as per your carbs. Make sure you follow. If you have any questions, contact your dietitian. In BC, we have something called Dial a Dietitian, where you can call and ask questions. I'm sure most areas have something close to this, but make sure you do it and you do it soon. The sooner you start, the sooner you have the chance to feel better. And this is the first big step. Maybe let's call it actually the second big step. The first is getting your insulin dose correct. The next is counting carbs. And the third will be how to integrate exercise. And with that, we're going to call it a day. I hope this has brought some insight to your diabetes care. Have a great day. Talk to you later. Bye now. My email address is mikesdiabetesworld@gmail.com. All one line. Drop me